Okay, all right. We are back. Thank everybody for having us. It is the Hot Seat Roadshow, and I'm Donovan Sadiq, your host, and we're going to talk about a few things.
Because in about a year or two, what you do is take a look up in the mirror, and what you see is the image of hate that you shed upon the others, the sisters, and your brothers. Now, in my opinion, you need someone.
All right, that's one of my favorite songs from the early 90s. It's called Do the Right Thing. And that's a song that's very positive because it talks about doing the right thing. You know, no matter what the situation is, just do the right thing. So a lot of you guys out there listening remember that song. But I want to thank you guys for the feedback from Friday. I hate to be the one to say I told you so, but I told you so. So we're looking at August 5th as the next date that this case is going to trial. And, you know, once again, I'm going to tell you guys this. Victoria Baca is not on trial. So let's get that clear. It is the treasurer of her committee that is on trial. They are charging her with embezzlement. Victoria Baca, Chris Baca, Elena, the Goon Squad, however you want to group them, basically set this lady up as the fall chick to take the fall. And they've done this before to people. And they usually do that to people who have immigrated here, who really can't go to the police because they're not citizens or whatever their situation may be. But this lady decided not to take it, and she contacted me. And yeah, she was a little disappointed that it's going to trial. I was hoping that maybe they would drop it and then we could just move on. But looking at it from both sides, it's still a good thing. So everybody's saying, well, if she's not on trial, then, you know, why are you insinuating the biggest thing? Well, let me explain it to you. Victoria Baca does not want this to go to trial because she is now subjected to being subpoenaed under oath. This case can go into money laundering because the FPPC violation that I filed against her, that's what they saw in that case. They said it doesn't make sense how this money is going over here, and she's writing checks to her nephew who's doing whatever work, and it just didn't make sense. Now, Victoria Baca is ultimately responsible for the Committee M. The Committee M is headquartered at her office off of Day Street. That's in the FPPC complaint. I mean, that's where look at the paperwork. It's all there. So Victoria Baca is trying to get her seat back, and she's saying that, she's this, we all know her background. The she's just continually involved with criminals and criminality. That's just a fact. So how are you going to run in an election and you're dealing with a criminal court case? Now, she set this lady up. This lady was supposed to just take the fall, but she refused to do so, which really jammed them up really, really bad. So now, think about this. If I say that you stole money from me and I filed a police report against you, then the police investigate it, and then they come back to me and ask me, what happened. All of a sudden now, I don't want to cooperate. And that's what Victoria Baca probably realized. Oh my God, we should have just let this go or leave it alone or whatever we did, but it backfired on her. So now she is myself and a bunch of people now that are named in this report. I'm not named in the report nowhere. Okay, I am nowhere in the report, but I am a rebuttal witness. That means that I'm going to speak to rebut testimony based on my FPPC violation that I filed against Ms. Baca. So it's more of a character witness type thing since this is going to trial. And that's one thing she didn't want to happen, because now she could be indicted based on this leading into something else. Because, you're in court and you're saying all this stuff, which goes into something else. So that's the bad thing about that. But a lot of people said that, I'm a liar and, all kinds of stuff. And I'm not going to put myself out there like that to be sued, possibly, or to do anything that is going to take up my time unnecessarily. I put this information out for you, the voter, to be aware. You know, if you believe it or not, that's up to you, but you can't dispute facts. And these are the facts. I wouldn't be saying it if it wasn't true. So thank a lot of you people who responded and saw. And now if you guys would go out there and, like I said, if you don't believe her, you shouldn't believe me either. You should be doing your homework. And that's what I keep preaching to everybody. Don't believe anybody. Do your own homework. Do your own research. Make up your own mind. So August 5th is where we're going with that case. It's going to trial. So speaking of the election season, this week is the opening of the nomination period, and a lot of candidates are going to be opening, and we're going to be covering that. And it's going to be a very interesting situation here in the 1st District, because we are dealing with worse and worse. We have a bank robber, and we have Victoria Baca. Worse and worser. So the question is, who is going to rise in our district to represent us? Because there's a lot of people out there that do not like what LaDonna Johnson has done, and it's just not right. Because you got to ask yourself this: the only reason she came out and told us was because the Bacas or whoever had it was going to out her. Okay, so basically, out of her own mouth, she said, basically, she's saying, if I wasn't going to be outed, I wouldn't have said anything. So she continued to lie to us. And we still don't know the whole truth of what transpired. So we've got worse and worse. So I'm not voting for LaDonna Johnson. I would advocate, people are like, well, it happened 32 years ago. Well, it doesn't matter if it happened 32 years ago. That's not the issue. The issue is, why couldn't she be transparent like she ran on and told us and let us make that decision? So basically, if she wasn't going to be outed, she was going to continue the lie, which fooled you and fooled me. And I personally don't reward bad behavior, so I don't do that. So it's going to be interesting in this district. District 3, you have Brian Lowell, Mildred Bailey, and I believe somebody else is going to be running in that district. And that's going to be interesting because Brian Lowell is a Highland Fairview stooge. He thinks he knows everything. He's not going to win that seat. For mayor, you've got a lot of people. Notice, ever since I shut down Denise Fleming in her schoolyard campaign, we haven't heard anything from her. And what she's basically trying to do is keep low, so that, everybody kind of forgets everything that lies down. But I don't forget things. And I'm going to make sure that you guys know Denise Fleming is somebody not to vote for, because she takes responsibility for nothing. I mean, if that was me, just like in the last election, or even just like what I'm doing now, oh, he's a liar, he's this, I've been called every name in the book. But yet, I am taking responsibility for what I'm doing, because not only am I saying it, I'm on video saying it. So there's no doubt that this is what I'm saying, because I believe I'm a very honest person to a fault. And I guess that comes with coming from a military family where we have honor is one of our highest attributes to the way I was raised. I mean, it's all about your honor and your name. If you don't have anything else in this world, if your word isn't any good, then you're no good as far as we're concerned, and the way I was raised. So it's very important to me. So there's no doubt when I do something, it's Donovan Sadiq, and if I make a mistake, I'll be the first one to admit that mistake. Just like I clarified this case with Victoria Baca. Victoria Baca is not on trial here. This has to do with her committee and her committee treasurer. And I explained it to you. See, so I will clarify everything I need to clarify. But the bottom line is LaDonna Johnson needs to step down from that seat. And guess who LaDonna Johnson's best friend for life is? Wow, Denise Fleming. And wouldn't it be something that these people who all hang out with Ray Dean Ayers, they have a candidate that will run in that 3rd district? Wouldn't that be something? I think I'm kind of leading you guys into another area that I want you to kind of look at. So we have Fleming, who thinks she's going to be mayor, and she runs this little low-key campaign, and she's above the fray and all this other crap. Don't let this lady fool you. Please do your homework on Dr. Fleming, so-called Dr. Fleming. To me, that's a waste of a vote. You have Dr. Carrie Thien running for mayor. You have Mr. Price. You have Idiot Gutierrez. You have Molina, asterisk next to his name. I potentially might run for mayor. I'm not exactly sure yet. I'm going to do something this week. I was told that I could only run for one office. So I have to make a choice, and I haven't made that choice yet. What else is going on? The animal shelter. Again, we have a problem in that animal shelter, and it is obvious that LaDonna Johnson only panders when it's election season. We've been asking her to do something about that animal shelter for 2 years, yet she does nothing. It doesn't take all but a phone call or a visit down there to shut the killing down. And yes, you can do that. But she refuses to do so. You know why? Because would Ito lie to me? Oh, well, the staff told me this. Every time I used to work with LaDonna, that was the first thing that came out of her mouth. Well, the staff told me this. Well, the staff tells me a lot of stuff too. And guess what I found out? I have to continually go back to the staff to verify, when is this going to get done? How is this going to get done? We really have to vet these candidates, people. This is not high school. The last two candidates we had in the new District 1, they think this is some kind of photo op social thing. We are making decisions that affect people's lives. There is no excuse for District 1 to look the way it does. I'm in the shoe over here off Courage Street. I'm constantly telling LaDonna, you've got to follow this up. You've got to get these owners of these apartments to clean up their properties. You just don't go there one time, make a good showing, and then leave. You've got to follow that up. I mean, she is not up to the task. That is why I do this show. That's why I put the emails up. And there's a lot of people out there, LaDonna Johnson supporters, these people that support bank robbery, that say, oh, it is no secret, Donovan, that it's obvious that you're running for that seat. Well, duh. I think after 2 years of doing this and showing everybody what I'm about and where I stand, I think I should. That's one of the problems with politics. Just because you lose an election doesn't mean you have to go away. Maybe if you stick around and build your name up and build your reputation and show people where you stand, maybe in the next election cycle, they will vote for you. And lest we forget, I won the last election by default. Bank robber Jimson, who didn't want to disclose that she was a bank robber, stole my election. But it's not about me. And I'm just reminding you guys of that. I'm not the one doing stuff underhandedly. I'm not the one fooling you. I'm not the one lying to you. Everything that I've done is on video or it's public record. I put it out there so that you guys can see this lady is just taking photo ops. I don't care about photo ops. I believe you guys want results. And that's what I'm about. So duh, if I decide to run or not, people that follow me actually see, well, look what this guy is doing. While you guys are at work and you guys are busy raising your families and paying your taxes and commuting from that good job that you have that you've been working on for 10, 12 years plus, there are people like myself, Wake Up Moval, and all these websites, Moreno Valley Residents for Sustained Development, MV Gordy, that is watching out for your interests. I don't see LaDonna Johnson doing that. We have to tell her everything to do. So let's just wake up here, people. This is not rocket science. This is what we do. So as we look at these candidates, we're going to report that. But the thing is, we need people that are going to do the right thing even when nobody's looking. That's called integrity. And we don't have people that have that. I'm Donovan Sadiq. This has been the Hot Seat Radio Show.
Crime and abortion, all kinds of my distortion. This is very important, but just a little caution.